Good morning. Let's start the discussion for today. So, starting with the topic, it's a very important development in Indian defense history. आज INS Vikrant, the indigenously built aircraft carrier, was commissioned by the Prime Minister, enhancing Indian blue water navy capability. The first topic is relating to this INS Vikrant. The commissioning of this INS, India's first indigenous aircraft carrier. We have the aircraft carrier called INS Vikramaditya, okay, which is in service. So, but it is not indigenously built. But this Vikrant, India's first indigenous aircraft carrier, into the Navy as INS Vikrant, mark a defining moment. The first ever aircraft carrier to be indigenously designed and constructed. This is very important. What it is? Indigenously designed and constructed. Fine. INS Vikrant will strengthen the country's standing blue water navy. Fine. Okay. A maritime force with global reach and capability to operate over deep sea. With it, India also joins the elite group of nations who are the USA, Russia, France, UK and China, who are capable of designing and constructing aircraft carrier. With launching of this INS Vikrant, so India joined an elite club of 6 countries. Okay, so that is USA, then Russia, France, UK and China. These 5 countries had the capability to design and construct aircraft carrier. Okay, and India joined this league as the 6th country who are capable of designing and constructing aircraft carrier. Also, with a displacement of 43,000 ton when fully loaded, INS Vikrant is said to be the 7th largest among the carrier class in the world. So, it is the 7th largest aircraft carrier. Okay, in the world, which has been indigenously built by India. Okay, so this is a very historic day for India when this INS Vikrant was launched. Okay, which has been indigenously developed by India. Fine. INS Vikrant with Penat number R11, the first ever aircraft carrier that was operated by the Indian Navy. So the legacy means we had an aircraft carrier in the same name called INS Vikrant. Okay, since the pre-independence day. So this ship was officially laid down in 1943 and was being built for the Royal Navy, okay, of Britain. Okay, Hercules, when the construction was put on hold after the World War II ended. Okay, the construction started, but it was held up after the World War II ended. So, but the work has started. Fine, but like many other ships at that time, the under construction HMS Hercules was put up for sale by the United Kingdom as was purchased by India in 1957. Fine. So it was built for that English company, government of England. So for its Indian requirement, but as the country became independent, so it was put for sale, and India purchased it in 1957, which was INS Vikrant. Its old version. The construction work was completed and the ship was commissioned in Indian Navy as INS Vikrant in 1961. Fine. It was commissioned as INS Vikrant, the aircraft carrier, in 1961. The ship operated its aircraft feat with a catapult assisted system and ski jumping during its services. Compared to Irish Vikrant, the old one has less than half of its displacement at what under 210 meters in length and 260 meters of the present one. Okay, so it was only 210 meters long, but the present one is 260 meter in length. Okay, R11 saw significant action during the 1971 war with Pakistan when it led the naval blockade of East Pakistan. Okay, this which one? Ernest Vikrant, the old version, but the old Ernest Vikrant played a very important role during the 1971 war, okay, with Pakistan, and it led to the naval blockade of East Pakistan. This ship was decommissioned in 1997 after 36 years of service. Over the next 15 years, it was preserved as a museum ship before being finally sold for dismantling. Okay, so this ended the legacy of the original INS Vikrant. Right. So the old Indian naval ship Vikrant, commissioned in 1961. Okay, so was decommissioned. It was commissioned and decommissioned in 1997. That means after 36 years of service in India. Rabindra, it was decommissioned. Fine. See, when fully operational, Iris Vikrant will be capable of operationalizing air wing consisting of 30 aircrafts. Okay, MiG-29, Kamov helicopters, MH-60R, LH, LC Tejas. Okay, so all these will be decked in the two football size runway. Okay, over the INS Vikrant. Okay, project cost is approximately 20,000 crore. Okay, it has over 2,400 compartments. Okay, it has special provisions for the women because they are being put in the service of the Indian Navy right now. Fine. This is detail about the INS Vikrant. Fine. Onward, the name, the motto, finite, a number, and the spirit. The Sanskrit word Vikrant, which means courageous, find its origin in various scriptures, including the Bhagavad Gita. The sixth sloka in the chapter, first chapter of Gita, while describing the value of some generals from the army of Pandavas, used the adjective Vikrant. Okay. As far as the origin of this word goes, the VI prefix of the Sanskrit word denotes something that is distinctive or extraordinary, and the krant suffix means to move or advance in a direction. Okay. The word Virat, which means magnanimous, can also be found in the same chapter of Gita in a later verse and is name of the now decommissioned and dismantled British origin Centaur class aircraft carrier of the Indian Navy. Okay. With the decommissioning of Vikrant and Virat from the Indian Navy, so the only one aircraft carrier in service was the INS Vikramaditya, which was of Russian origin. Okay. The induction and reincarnation of Vikrant is not only another step towards strengthening our defense preparedness, but also our humble tribute to the sacrifice made by our freedom fighters for the independence of the nation, our brave soldiers during the 1971 war. Along with the pinnacle number R11, the newly commissioned INS Vikrant also carries forward the motto of its predecessor, Jayama Sam Yuddhi Ruddha, from the Rig Veda, which means I conquer those who fight against me. See, this is very important word. But the motto, I conquer those who fight with me. That means I am so powerful that anyone who fight with me, I will conquer them. This is the motto of this INS Vikrant. Fine. When fully operational, the mighty aircraft carrier will not just be a strong deterrent but also act as a floating airbase on blue water and will be sovereign territory of India in the middle of the ocean. Fine. Indigenous design and construction. The plan for building an indigenous aircraft carrier started taking shape as the old INS Vikrant near its decommissioning in the late 1990s. After it was retrieved, India relied on INS Virat, which has then been served in the Indian Navy for over 10 years after its earlier 25-year stint with the Royal Navy as HMS Armes. Meantime, the design and construction of this indigenous aircraft carrier was sanctioned in January 2003 and Cochin Shipyard Limited started since 2003. And the Cochin Shipyard, a public sector shipping entity under the Minister of Shipping, was tasked to build the ship. This is the first warship construction project of the Cochin Shipyard Limited. Fine. Cochin Shipyard constructed ship, but not the warship. Cochin Shipyard for the first time took up the construction of this defense ship for the CSL. Fine. Cochin Shipyard Limited. Milestones along the way. The first major milestones of this IAC, okay, was referred to as this Project 71 P71 was ceremonial steel cutting in April 2005. Other ceremonial events follow soon. Okay, if any ship like there are four key ceremonial occasions. So it is called the kill line, launching, commissioning, and decommissioning. We'll discuss them in detail. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So every ship from construction till the end of its lifespan, so divided into 4 different ceremonial occasions. Fine. One is the kill line, launching, commissioning, and decommissioning. We'll discuss them in detail. So, kill laying ceremony originates from the tradition of laying one central timber that forms the backbone of the ship. Earlier ships were built with wood. So, kill laying ceremony originates from the tradition of laying one central timber that form the backbone of the ship. For modern ships, keel laying is marked by placing the first of the modular components of the ship being placed in the deck. The keel of the ISC-1 was laid on February 20, 2009. Right. Launching is when the ship is transferred from the building into the water. Initial building is done at the construction sites of the ship, and then it is set to the water for retrofitting. So the ISC was launched on August 12, 2013, and by that time 80% of its structure has been fabricated and all the major machinery including turbines, alternators and gearbox were installed. ISC was launched out into the Ernakulam channel in a ponton assisted precision maneuver. It was moved out of the building dock to be positioned the refitting dock at the next phase of outfitting was completed. On June 10, 2015, the ISC was on dock. Fine. Then the trial started. The trial and pandemic induced delays. So it might have been commissioned much earlier, but the pandemic has delayed the process. The readiness of this ISC's propulsion and power generation equipment and related system was tested in harbour as part of the vaccine trial in November 2020. The sea trial were delayed because of the second COVID-19 wave. Fine. Finally, on 4th August 2011, the first stage of the sea trial kicked off with the ISC sailing on its first open sea voyage from Kochi and returning after 4 days later. Fine. The first voyage started in 2021, that is August 4th. Fine. This was followed by second and third phase of the sea trial in October 2021 and January 2022 respectively. These three phases tested the propulsion machinery, electrical and electronic suits, deck machinery, These three phases tested the propulsion machinery, electrical and electronic suits, deck machinery, life-saving appliances, ship navigation and communication system. Fourth and fifth phase of the sea trial of this was completed on 10th July 2022 after conducting integrated test of the majority of the equipment and system on board, including some of the aviation facility complex equipments. This ship was delivered to the Navy on July 20th, 2022. Fine. Delivered to the Indian Navy in July 20th, 2022. And its Vikrant is 262-meter long and 62-meter wide, making its flight deck bigger than two football fields. The aircraft carrier displaces around 43,000 tons when fully loaded. The maximum design speed of 28 knot, the endurance of 7,500 nautical miles, which is equivalent to around 14,000 kilometers. Fine. The 18th floor high ship has close to 2,400 compartments designed to house 1,600 strong crew. It also has specialized cabin to accommodate women officers and sailors. The aviation hangar is as big as two Olympic-sized pools that can accommodate around 20 aircrafts. Fine. This is most important. Okay. So which one? The aviation hangar. That means where the aircrafts will be placed. Okay, called the hangar. Okay, so as we get to Olympic sized pools that can accommodate 20 aircrafts. There is a well equipped kitchen that can serve a diverse menu. It also has a unit that makes 30,000 rotis per hour. Fine. So, such enormous facility, and next follow its medical facility. What are the medical facility on board? Its medical complex C. So, because we see for a long period, its medical complex has a 16-bedded hospital along with modular emergency operating theaters, physiotherapy clinic, intensive care units, pathology setups, radiology wings with CT scans and X-ray machines, a dental complex, isolation ward, and telemedicine facilities. Such is the medical facility on board. In its fully operational mode, the carrier will have an air wing consisting of 30 aircraft comprising of Russian origin, carrier capable of the MiG-29 fighter jets and airborne early warning and control helicopter, Kamov 31 helicopters, US origin HM600R, multi-role helicopters in addition to the homegrown advanced light helicopters. Fine. And light combat aircrafts. Okay, the naval version. Vikrant uses the short takeoff but arrested recovery, okay, model with a ski jump for launching aircraft and a set of three arrestor wires for the recovery on board. This is the facility for the aircraft operation on board. Fine. The path ahead after commissioning. Vikrant has been built at an approximate cost of 20,000 crore. According to Navi, around 80 to 85% has been plugged back into the Indian economy with complete indigenous construction. 76% of indigenous content and with employment gives 20 CSL personnel, coaching shipyard personnel, with another 13,000 being employed indirectly. Okay, so 22,000 coaching shipyard personnel were engaged in constructing this aircraft carrier with 76% indigenous content. Fine. This is the credit of this aircraft carrier. Fine. And the cost approximately was around 20,000 crore to the Indian exchequer. But much less than what we purchased the aircraft carrier and Vikramaditya from Russia. On operationalizing INS Vikrant, in line with the prevailing practices being followed by other advanced countries having experience of building aircraft carrier, the deck integration trials, for fixing weak aircraft and exploitations of aviation facility complex will be carried out post commissioning of the ship when the operational command and control of the ship, including flight safety, each with the Navy. The flight trial of INS Vikrant are set to begin in November, and the carrier is expected to be fully operational by mid 2023. Fine. The demand for another aircraft carrier for the last, so because we have only one called INS Vikramaditya, the second join INS Vikrant, we have only two. So, demand for another aircraft carrier. The last few years, top commanders have been insisting for a third carrier apart from Russian origin Kip class and Vikramaditya and INS Vikrant. The indigenous aircraft carrier 2 will be named as INS Vishal. Okay, Vikrant, and the third one will be INS Vishal. Okay, with a proposed displacement of around 65 tons, equaling the Queen Elizabeth class of the carriers of the UK. The idea is for India to have two carriers at a given point of time, and the third is the refit. If one of these one aircraft carrier is sent for refitting for any technical issue, then at least two aircraft carriers must be in service always. Fine. That is what is being proposed. Fine. By the defense commanders. Fine. So this will enhance India's blue water navy's capability, and India through this indigenous program has established its mastery over aircraft carrier design and construction. Fine. We have constructed many naval ships, the coaching shipyard, etc. have built many, but this the building this aircraft carrier is a new challenge, and indigenously building it with almost all 78% of requirements being fulfilled indigenously is a big credit for the Indian defense research, design and manufacturing. Fine. Then the cost of building and operating aircraft carriers. Cost is always a key consideration as far as constructing and operating aircraft carrier is concerned. The carrier strike group, the operational formation of the aircraft carrier, consists of destroyers, frigates, submarines, and service ships. In spite of the protective cover of these ships and its own defense system, aircraft carrier remains a vulnerable target. Fine, because from this deck, that fighter planes can fly and land. Fine. Listen to give a nod to consider the IAC-2 not just as political, economic, and strategic consideration, but indigenous aircraft carrier. Fine. Okay. IAC-2. The the indigenous aircraft. IAC stands for indigenous aircraft carrier. Fine. Not just as political, economic, and strategic consideration, but also one of India's projected standing as a global maritime power. The decisions also need to be looked at from the standpoint of how China is readily pursuing its carrier program with their third carrier already in the making and more in the pipeline. So, because China has the two aircraft carriers and the third is already in the making, so India should to compete with China and to safeguard its blue water navy, India must be capable to have its second one. Fine. Because we have one aircraft carrier that we have purchased from Russia, and that one already has been indigenously built, and the second one is to be made to make Indian Navy more powerful and compete means at par with the immediate enemy, that is China. Fine. Moving to the next news. So this next is about the Open Network for Digital Commerce (ONDC). Okay. According to PIB, the Union Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Consumer Affairs, Foods and Public Distribution and Textile, Cyprus Dual called for the integration of one district, one product initiative with the open network for digital commerce for online sale of the products. Fine. This what is this open network for digital commerce? Earlier, US firm Microsoft has become the first big tech company to join the open network for digital commerce as government-backed project, which is aimed at enabling small merchants and mom and pop stores in part of the country to access process and technology that are typically developed by large e-commerce platforms such as Amazon and Flipkart. Okay, so what is open network for digital commerce? It is an initiative that aimed at promoting open networks for all aspects of exchange for goods and services over digital or electronic network. ONDC is to be based on open source methodology using open specifications and open network protocols independent of any specific platform. It is being developed as a counter to current duopoly in Indian e-commerce market. Monopoly, duopoly. Okay, it's largely dictated by Amazon and Walmart own Flipkart. So two major companies are the Amazon and Flipkart operating in the digital commerce platform in India. So more should be open to provide the facility to the people. Fine. This is why this ONDC is being promoted. In May 2022, the Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade went live with a test run for ONDC in cities like Delhi, NCR, Bengaluru, Coimbatore, Bhopal, and Salem, where it plans to onboard 150 sellers. How does this ONDC work? The ONDC platform lies in the middle of the interface, hosting the buyers and the sellers. So far, the buyer side interface is being hosted by Paytm, whereas the seller side interface is being hosted by other players like O, Frugal, etc. When a buyer searches for an item, fine. When a buyer searches for an item on the Paytm app, from the ONDC has gone live, the app will connect to the ONDC platform, which will connect it to seller side interface that will list all the companies from where you can buy the particular item. On ONDC, there will be several other backend partners such as the logistics service providers, enterprise resource planners, e-commerce store hosting service providers, etc. That means the digital trading, online trading facility will be more wider, more widespread, more open under this ONDC network. Fine. What are the challenges of ONDC aims to address? An ONDC strategy paper published earlier this year has flagged the rising dominance of global players in India's e-commerce ecosystem, pointing out that the large quantum of investment required to build competitors to be integrated solution offered by the big players has become an entry barrier for a digital marketplace. It also flagged the inability of marketplace seller to move out of the platform ecosystem, given that the value created by these small players is stored with a larger platform. With this in mind, the ONDC aims to transform the marketplace ecosystem from an operator-driven platform-centric model to a facilitator-driven interoperable decentralized network. What is ODOP? According to Ministry of Commerce and Industry, one district, one product is an initiative. Okay, so this is very popular one of this one district, one product because every district in India has some unique product. Okay, so and government want to popularize that under the brand name called one district, one product scheme. It is an initiative which is seen as a transformational step to forward towards realizing the true potential of a district, full economic growth and generate employment and rural entrepreneurship, taking us to the goal of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Fine. If the product of a district is popularized on online mode, so more and more consumers can know about it and the product will be popular in the digital market. One district one product initiative operationally merged with the district as export hub initiative being implemented by the DGFT Department of Commerce with the Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, okay, DPIIT as a major stakeholder. The Department of Commerce through this DGFT is engaging with state and central government agencies to promote the initiative of one district, one product. The objective is to convert each districts of the country into an export hub by identifying products with export potential in the district, addressing bottlenecks for exporting these products, supporting local exporters, manufacturers to scale up manufacturing and find potential buyers outside India with the aim of promoting exports, promoting manufacturing and services industry in the district and generate employment in the district. Fine. So this is what this one district one product scheme by the government wants to promote. To increase export and export promotion to the district level, Department of Commerce through the Director General of Foreign Trade is engaging with state, union territory government to implement the said initiative in all districts of the country in a phased manner, with the objective of mobilizing the potential of each districts of the country to achieve its potential as an export hub. So through this program, government want to develop each districts in the country to achieve its potential as an export hub, and by exporting specific product from the district. So example Koraput coffee, Kandhamal turmeric, Sambalpur fabrics, fine. So the filigree work of Cuttack, okay. So so many items, so many products, so many consumables are very uniquely produced in specific districts, and the uniqueness is because of that particular district where they are manufactured, and government want to just promote them and make the name for the district, and also simultaneously promoting export the item, thereby earning financial result for the country. Fine. And if this is being sold to this ONDC platform, the scope of its product sale will definitely get a big transformation. Fine. Then first, the second one is India. So this is another big day for India, which when so India's first indigenously developed vaccine for cervical cancer is developed by the Serum Institute of India. Fine. Indian Ministry of Science and Technology announced the scientific completion of indigenously developed quadrivalent human papilloma virus, okay, vaccine for the prevention of cervical cancer. Despite being largely preventable, cervical cancer is the fourth most common Cervivac, India's first cancer among women globally, according to WHO. In 2018, an estimated 57,000 women were diagnosed with this disease, and it accounts for 311,000 deaths across the world per year. Fine. See its dimension. So the death issue per year, 311,000 deaths occurs around the world for the cervical cancer, which can be prevented. How common is cervical cancer in India? India accounts for about a fifth of the global burden of cervical cancer, with 1.23 lakhs cases and around 67,000 deaths per year. This is the death per year in cervical cancer. Almost all cervical cancer cases are linked to certain strains of human papilloma virus, a common virus that is transmitted through sexual contact. While the body's immune system usually get rid of the HPV infection naturally within 2 years, in a small percentage of the people, the virus can linger over time and turn some normal cells into abnormal cell and then cancer, according to Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Fine. So this is a very common infection among the women. Fine. And so although majority of the cases it is the virus is killed,
but infection naturally it died down within 2 years. But in small percent of people, the virus can linger over time and lead to carcinogenic development. Okay. According to experts, while cervical cancer is preventable if detected early and managed effectively, it kills one woman every 8 minutes in the country. See its importance, its significance, or its casualty. It kills one woman every 8 minutes in India. Screening and vaccinations are two powerful tools that are available for preventing cervical cancer. Still, there is little awareness among women about the prevention of this cancer, and less than 10% of the Indian women get screened. All women aged 30 to 49 must get screened for cervical cancer even if they have no symptom and get their adolescent daughters vaccinated with the HPV vaccine. Who developed this new QHPV vaccine? The Cervavac was developed by the Pune-based Serum Institute of India in coordination with the Government of India Department of Biotechnology. The project to develop the vaccine was implemented by the then Secretary of the Department of Biotechnology, Dr. M.K. Vahan in 2011. Since then, 30 meetings of the Scientific Advisory Group and site visits conducted by the Department of Biotechnology has helped review the scientific merits of the entire journey to develop the vaccine. Sarvavac received market authorization approval from the Drug Control General of India in July 12, 2022, and the Serum Institute of India, the biggest vaccine manufacturer, will produce it. And it is being developed by Serum Institute in cooperation with the Department of Biotechnology, Government of India. Right. And this is, you can say, so India's biggest contribution to the emerging healthcare system in India in particular, but also the global scenario in general. Fine. How effective is the new vaccine? The HPV vaccine are given in two doses, and the data has shown that the antibody that develop after both are administered can last up to 6 or 7 years. Unlike COVID vaccine, HPV vaccine available in India or produced by foreign manufacturers at an approximate cost of 2,000 to 3,500 per dose. Sarvivag is likely to be significantly cheaper, slated to cost approximately 200 to 400 as declared by the manufacturer, and that they have declared that in consultation with the Government of India, the price of this vaccine will be decided and it will be made available. And initially, the company has declared that 20 crore doses. So, first, in the first phase, the company will produce 20 crore doses. Okay, or Indian, then it will export it. Fine. The biggest tax will be in allocating adequate resources and manpower for vaccinating the massive demographic of the adolescent girls aged between 9 to 15 to ensure that they are protected from the HPV early on. Right. This is what is the big challenge, because once the vaccine is developed, so government have planned to give it free, and the state governments of Odisha has expressed keen interest to get this vaccine and give it free to its adolescent girls free of cost. So, but the biggest challenge remain that to finding the networking and to find the infrastructure to administer it. But like the pandemic, corona pandemic, that COVID vaccine, as you have injected it, administered it, similarly will be able to successfully vaccinate the determined age group against this cervical cancer. Uh, the vaccine, okay, in a smooth manner, because of our experience and expertise will help us. Fine. According to experts, there is a huge need for stepping up awareness about the disease and the vaccine in the community. Unlike COVID and vaccination program, there is little awareness about cervical cancer. Overall, awareness and screening is very low in the community, and that is a concern. This is a preventable disease, and hence a huge awareness program is required. But next, Experts suggest that school-based vaccination program will work effectively. Currently, none exist, and therefore planning will have to be done along those lines. Those accessing public health programs will get the vaccine free of cost at government-aided schools. However, concerted efforts will have to be made to ensure the involvement of private healthcare facilities and NGO towards an effective rollout. Fine. That is the challenge for the time being. Fine. Then we'll discuss the important questions. Constitutional morality is rooted in the Constitution itself and is founded on its essential facets. Explain the doctrine of constitutional morality with the help of relevant judicial decision. Constitutional morality, what do you mean by constitutional morality? Okay. Constitutional morality is defined as the adherence to the principles of the constitutional values. It includes commitment to inclusive and democratic political process. According to Dr. Ambedkar, the concept of constitutional morality implicated the harmonious interaction between the governing and the governed. Though the term constitutional morality is not found in the Constitution, nevertheless, it is rooted in various facets of the Constitution, such as in preamble, where like justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity, hence in the preamble, in the fundamental right, in the fundamental duties, so also in the directive principles state laws. So in the preamble, it is mentioned in the fundamental rights part 3, fine. In the fundamental duty under Article 51A and DPSP part 4. Okay, so all these have been contained constitutional principle of constitutional morality under Indian Constitution. Fine. The doctrine of constitutional morality safeguard and upholds the enforcement of rule of law in the country. It recognizes this distinction and non-homogeneity and promotes diversity, helping to make the society more inclusive. It also promotes people to be an active participant of the system and fight the inequalities and non-constitutional elements. Fine. So, what it meant, the doctrine of morality safeguard the and upholds the enforcement of rule of law. First, what it ensures enforcement of rule of law in the country. It recognizes this distinction and non-homogeneity, and so non-homogeneity promote diversity, helping to make the society more inclusive. It also promotes people to be an active participant in the system and fight the inequalities and non-constitutional elements. The Supreme Court has been vocal about constitutional morality to illustrate. In the Krishnamurti case of 2015, the court held that democracy export prevalence of genuine orderliness, positive properties, dedicated discipline, and sanguine sanctity by constant affirmative constitutional morality, which is the pillar stone of good governance. Justice S.K. Swami case in 2018, the Supreme Court held that constitutional morality ensured that court must neutralize the excess of power by the executive and strike down any legislation or even executive action if it is unconstitutional. In the government of NCT of Delhi case 2018, the court equated constitutional morality to be second basic structure doctrine. It said that constitutional morality acts as a check on arbitrary use of power as it implies strict and complete adherence to the constitutional principles. Fine. So, this is the importance of constitutional morality under Indian Constitution. So, which has been mentioned in the preamble, in the fundamental right, in the fundamental duties, as well as the DPSP, as well as the Supreme Court. Many verdicts have uh, emphasize on this. The Indian Young Lawyers Association case in 2018, commonly known as the Sabarmala case, the Supreme Court bypassed the doctrine of essentiality, the principle protecting the integral religious practice of a community to uphold the supremacy of the constitutional morality. Constitutional morality is crucial for constitutional law to be effective. Without constitutional morality, the operation of the constitution tends to become arbitrary. However, the concept of constitutional morality need to be determined by the Supreme Court at every given instance. It It is a sentiment that needs to be cultivated in the minds of the citizens. If the citizens cultivate a sense of constitutional morality in their mind, so this will be more promoted in Indian situation, as have been highlighted. Fine. So then we'll move to the MCQs of the day. Fine, based on the topic that we have discussed. With this statement, so with the following statement, answer the questions below. So, open market for digital commerce, the initiative aimed at promoting open network for all aspects of the exchange of goods and services over digital or electronic network. Districts as export hub has been replaced by one district, one product initiative. No, so they have been so one district, one product scheme. So have been merged with district as an export hub. So combining both, government want to produce, promote and popularize the product of every districts and enhance the export. So they have not replaced, they have been, so they have been added to each other. US Farm, Microsoft has become the first big tech company to join the open network of digital commerce. One and three are right. These two option is wrong. Fine. So answer will be C. Then coming to question number two. Okay, these are about the different warships and aircraft carriers in service. Fine. So this Nimitz class, this belong to USA. This belong to USA, not France. Not France. Queen Elizabeth class belong to UK. This is right. Then this learning class belong to China. Anis Vikrant belong to India. And this Charles D. Goulet belong to France. This is wrong. So three pairs are correct. So 2, 3 and 4 are correct. 1 and 5 are wrong. Right. So it is the three pairs are correct. Fine. Then 3, long-lasting infections with certain types of human papilloma virus is the main cause of cervical cancer. Yes, it is right. The HPV vaccine protect against the types of HPV that most often cause cervical, vaginal, and vulvar cancers. Recently, India gets its first indigenously developed Q HPV vaccine. Earlier, India has been fully dependent on foreign manufacturers for the, so all the three are right. Fine. AP 1, 2, 3, all are correct. So answer is D. Then each of doing business index is a tool designed by the World Bank to rank economies across the country. Which of the following parameters are used by the World Bank? Getting electricity, getting credit, protecting minority investors, paying taxes. All these are correct and parameters taken in the ease of doing business standard. Fine. Then Solomon Island recently seen in news in the Pacific Ocean. Fine. And cut the following disease and the vaccine. Okay. Ceravac is for cervical cancer. Okay. It is right. MMR is not. It's MMR. Okay. MMR is for rubella, fine. Okay. DTP it is for diphtheria and tetanus, and BCG is for tuberculosis. So 3 and 4 are wrong. So in this 1 and 2 are right, and 3 and 4 are wrong. So answer is A. Because this DTP is for uh, diphtheria, tetanus, etc., and the BCG is for the tuberculosis. This is for the okay. So then moving further, question number 7. Marine mission is a mission of NASA to Mars. Okay, like our Mars orbiter mission. The Ugir community recently mentioned in news can be relating to which of the following region. So Central Asian region, especially they are being infiltrated in China. Mostly they are being in news for infiltrated in China. So they belong to the Central Asian region. The nine, this is the following regarding the G33 grouping. So G33 is a group of 44 countries. Although it is known as G33, it has 44 members, including India, and they are promoting agricultural exports and agricultural promotion. Periodic labor force survey recently seen in news was done by which of the following? Done by National Statistical Organization (NSO). Which of the following month celebrated every year as Rashtriya Poshan Mahabhijan month of September? Then Parush Parva and Das Lakhan Parva are related to Jainism. Fine. Each next reform often mentioned in news related to banking. So it is so this each reform index is a common reform agenda of the public sector banks. This is about the common reform agenda of public sector banks. Fine. Which police force is fast in country to make collection of forensic evidence mandatory in crimes punished by more than 6 years? The Delhi police. Fine. Delhi police is under the control of the central Union Home Ministry, not the Delhi government. Fine. In the following statement, human cases of rabies are reported in India all over the country with the exception of Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep Island. Fine. Dogs are the main source of human rabies. Up to 19% of all rabies transmissions to humans occurs after dog bites. India targeted to achieve zero human death due to dog-mediated rabies by 2030. So, all these are correct. All A, B, C, all these are correct. All of these. Which of the following statement is correct regarding L69? Okay, L69 consists of 42 countries. Okay, there are 42 members spread over Africa, Latin America, fine, the Caribbean, then Asia and Pacific. Okay, and they want expansion and reforms in the United Nations Security Council. Fine. Gilberton has officially been declared as a city in UK. Which of the following countries share border with the Strait of Gibraltar, Spain and Morocco? SPARC program often mentioned in news related to which of the following? The SPARC program is a student program for Ayurvedic research. Fine. It is SPARC stands for Students Program for Ayurvedic research. Okay. And it is by Central Council for Research in Ayurveda. Science. CCRAS. Fine. Then comes to discuss part program regarding Ayurvedic research. And question number 20, the term Rakha related to digital pension administration for the defense pensioners. Fine. So this way, so the today's discussions on the topics and the MCQ are over. So keep on watching regularly to update yourself on the most important development per day to update or different upcoming examinations. Right. Thank you.